So in Clip Studio Paint, vector tools are utilized simply by drawing on a vector layer. Here, this little guy. It's not like Photoshop or other drawing programs where the vector tool is a specific brush that limits you to a specific line quality or texture. Here you can use any brush, and it doesn't change the line quality. See here if you can pick out which ones of these are vector and which ones are raster. Zoom in, you see they all have texture. They all flow the same way. They've all picked up my sensitivity. They all even overlap in the same way. And you can see these ones, the red ones, are actually the vectors. I mixed them all up. Just an example that they are all identical with this textured pencil brush that I'm using. So, moving on to what you can do with this, you can still sketch on vectors if you like to just get in the habit of using vector layers. I personally still sketch on rasters. It doesn't really make a big difference. You can see here that my eraser tool and everything still works. But the thing that I don't like about the vector is you see here, it doesn't change where my lines are, but it will redraw the texture. And I just find that distracting. Nothing's actually changing, but it's a little bit annoying, so I tend to sketch on rasters. But the real implication here is when you do your line art over your sketch. Here's just a quick list of the tools that I like to use. First here is the eraser. By default, you will have a vector eraser. It might be listed a little bit differently on yours. I've reorganized all my tools. But if you use the vector eraser, you can simply just cut off intersections, and it'll just delete up to that intersection. This makes doing things like this, like little gaps in the hair, or just hair in general, really fast. It allows you to quickly just draw lines, like I did that ear in one big stroke, and I didn't have to do any like fine tweaking or erasing to fix that hole that I made. Just do a quick cleanup. I don't need to finish this whole drawing. You get the idea. Then next, we have here the line correction tool. By default, this will be all the way at the bottom here under correct line. I use pinch vector line a lot. So for instance, say here I've misshapen the forearm a little bit. These tools here change how the anchors behave, that is the ends of your lines. This one here fixes either end, meaning just whichever one you grab closest to will move. So if I wanted to change the shape of this line, you can do so like this. Or if I want both of the ends to stay in place, you can do things like change the curvature of it without changing where it begins or ends. You use that in conjunction with the eraser, and you can do quick corrections like this. Just move the lines where they should be and overlap them a little bit, and then you can use the vector eraser to quickly delete those overlapping segments that you don't want. And lastly, the biggest thing, I believe, is the effect that this can have for laying down flat colors. If you're the type of artist who likes to color in their entire figure and then paint on top of that, this will work amazingly for you. If you just make a new layer, we'll call this flats. And then the important bit here is you select your line layer and you set it as a reference. That's done with this funky little looking icon right here. And you can see now that beside this layer it is set as the reference. And then for the flats, you can simply go into your fill tool, and there's a tool called close and fill. These are the properties that I have set mine to. You can tweak yours how, but it will do simply this. Let me pick a nice bright color so I can easily see. And most artists I see will come with a nice like flat round brush and do something like this, where they'll color in their figure and just carefully trace the insides of the lines, and then they'll come back through with a big broad stroke and fill it in, or maybe even they'll close out a shape like this and then use the fill tool to block it in like that. But what if, instead of spending ages doing all of that, you could simply do this? Now you can see it didn't all work quite right, but you can grasp, I feel, how time-saving of a measure this is when done correctly. So the reason why it didn't work is that my lines are not closed, so I might come back and just quickly close those lines, or you can use the line correction tool to do this, or even sometimes the program won't recognize because the line is too thin, so another great line correction tool is the adjust line width. You can set it to thicken, and then just say, I want this whole area to have chunkier lines, either just for aesthetics or for making the program read it easier. Either way, it's a handy little tool to quickly fix up your liner. So now let's try this again. Close and fill. Whoops. Yeah. So now that's great on its own, but what I like to use even more so than that is actually the magic wand tool. I've set it to refer here, this one, the refer to all layers. Refer to the reference layer or all layers. I'll use it as reference here, and instead you can just select the outside, and this way it's nice and easy to get rid of the interior shapes that you don't want to fill in, like this. And the only exception here is because I've left this sketch open, I can manually, or even use the selection pen here to fill out this little zone. Oh, oops, I had it backwards. It is selected. I need to erase the selection. There we go. Now you can see just like that, I have my whole figure selected. It only took me a few seconds, and then I can just lay down my flat color. Oops, let's invert the selection first. Lay down my flat color, and it's done. You can just set that to preserve transparency and begin coloring however you would normally inside this shape. Or you can even use the close and fill tool to quickly block out sections, like the hair, for instance. That's not going to work, it's open on the side there, but you'll get the idea. Okay. And then rather than spending all your time doing the fine details yourself, you let the program take the brunt of it, and then you can come in and just make your minor corrections like this. You can see mine isn't going very deep into the line. I can set the line to a different color here so you can see it easier. But those are all settings. Yeah, see, it's ending almost immediately right up onto the line. But those are all settings you can change in here if you want it to go, say, 1 or 2 pixels further. You might find that it fills the shapes a bit better without leaving those little edges. And the erase tool will still work if you just go ahead and cut off the bits that you might miss like I did there. And that's it. I hope that gave you some inspiration or knowledge on how to more quickly and efficiently line and fill your characters.